Today's episode is going to focus on scheduling and talking about your enough and what that means for your business. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. As always, before we get started, I want to take a few moments to highlight Up in My Business's show sponsor, Jane App. Jane is a clinic management software and EMR designed to help you run your clinic and prevent no-shows. One of the most common reasons for no-shows is forgetfulness, so bolstering your communication is key to helping your clients show up for scheduled appointments. With Jane, you can create effective reminders that include appointment details and clear instructions on how to cancel and reschedule. You can also choose between a text, email, manual phone call, or a mixture of all three reminders depending on what works best for your clients. You'll love not having to remind your clients, and they'll love getting a little nudge about when their appointment is. If you're curious to learn more, head to jane.app/payments to book a demo with a member of the Jane team. You can also use my code LEX1MO. Again, it's LEX1MO over at jane.app/start for a 1-month grace period on your new Jane account. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. I'm Lex, the host of Up in My Business. If you're new here, I am the owner of Lex Lancaster Creative Co., and I'm so glad you're here. If you're a seasoned listener, welcome back. I am excited to record another episode for you today. It is Saturday, so I've been flipping between recording this during the week or on hopefully not Saturday or Sunday. I've tried to stay away from that recently just because it's summertime and I don't want to feel like I have to record on the weekend. But this is going to dive into what I'm going to be talking about today. So I'll leave the whole story, but today I'm recording on Saturday. So as always, we'll start with business and life updates. Nothing too crazy, but this, as far as life goes, today's Saturday. So Thursday night, Shantae and I went to a really fantastic restaurant, the Arden in downtown Los Angeles. Well, it was really in WeHo. It was in West Hollywood, and it was great. It was very aesthetically pleasing. I will say we were talking about this at dinner. Tapas place is not really like top on my list of places to go, only because it's like really small portions and it's the same price as a normal portion. So it's like give you less food, but because of the experience you're going to get, it's higher price. But anyway, the food was really, really good. So if you are near WeHo, that is a great place to check out. It was full of flowers. So if you look it up on Instagram, you'll see that there's flowers all over the ceiling, all over the tables. There's flowers all over the wall. It was really, really pretty. The environment was very cool. So went there, and then we went to see a comedy show, Rachel Scanlon, super, super funny queer comedian, and she is the best. We had a great time and laughed and cannot recommend Rachel enough. And then Friday, we went to, Friday morning did we hang out? Friday morning we played volleyball. We went to play volleyball with two of our friends, and then we came home, relaxed for a minute, had breakfast, and then we went to the beach with Moose, and then just relaxed the rest of the day. So yesterday we pretty much took the day off and hung out with Moose, brought her to the beach. She loves the beach. She loves swimming. And honestly, like the dog would literally go all day long fetching a water toy. She loves to be in the ocean, and honestly, toward the end, Shantae went to go throw with her, and you could tell that she was just tired and done, because she would bring the toy almost all the way up to where I was sitting instead of dropping it right at the water. So yesterday she actually had to swim a lot because where we were at must have been a little bit deeper than where we typically are. But when the waves were coming, she would actually not be able to walk, and she was swimming. So it was more energy. So she had to swim, and she was tired, and we were just hanging out, and the weather was great. A little bit windy, as always, on the beach, but it was a great day. So that was then. And then other life stuff. I'm trying to think. Today we've spent the day hanging out. We tried this burrito place where essentially this Michelin star restaurant decided one day that they were just going to start making burritos. And to this day, they're like in high demand where you can only, sorry, I'm opening my water. You can only get them Friday and Saturday, and they sell out every weekend. And it's not a menu. They open, of course, and they have a menu inside, but you have to pre-order them on Instagram. It's kind of a wild process, but they were really, really good. We got bacon. It's like bacon, egg, cheese, tater tots. There were scallions in there. It was just delicious. It was amazing. And the wrap was really, really good. And it wasn't watery, which is obviously a huge problem with burritos. They always are like watery. Like no one wants it to be dripping out of the burrito, but really, really good. So if you're in Hermosa Beach, Barron's is, I believe, how we're saying it, is so, so good. So check that out. Gonna take a sip of water. What else? But that's all the personal stuff. Business wise, big thing coming up, blogging boot camp. I'm going to be running a all things blogging workshop, and I haven't fully decided on the structure of it yet. I did a vote via my email list. So my newsletter received 2 different emails, basically just asking like what they would prefer. And it's a split. It's honestly a split. So what I'm probably going to do, if I had to make an estimate here, I'm probably going to run the workshop and then do a second day, and it'll be an optional add-on, but I'm going to limit the seats. I'm going to limit the seats because there were a decent number of people, and I know that if everyone were to say yes, it wouldn't work out for the second day. So I'm going to limit the seats for that I'm going to call it like an upgrade, if you will, or add-on for the live accountability. Let's go over your first blog and make sure you did it well type of experience. And then honestly, if I get enough people on, I guess what I would call a wait list for a second group, I might consider doing that as well. So we'll see. I don't know. The way that the voting went, like I'm definitely going to offer it. I am just not sure how I'm going to structure the second accountability piece. I'm going to offer it, but I just don't know what that's going to look like. So stay tuned. If you're interested in learning everything you need to know about blogging, there's just a lot of crazy information out there, and I really want it to be straightforward and tactical, and this is exactly what you need to do. And then this will essentially be the last blogging thing, course, workshop, tutorial, whatever you want to call it, that you'll have to buy. I ran this with mine and Shantae's Lecture Mind crew, and they've been getting great results, and my clients get great results. So I just want to make this available for the masses, and then we'll see what ends up happening. But I'm looking at my calendar. I'm trying to run it July 9th and 16th. I don't know. I'm looking at the dates and I'm like, that's only 2 weeks, but I also I don't want to promote this for too long. I just want it to be up and going and people can register, and then I'll run it. So I'm thinking the 9th and the 16th, and it'll be at 4 p.m. PST, but stay tuned. So we'll see. Other than that, really nothing too big. I'm going to talk about a lot of the business stuff that I have on my mind in the episode, so we'll just jump right into that. So the episode today, I want to just dive into scheduling and developing your perfect ideal schedule so that you can always be serving from a place of 110%. So rather than, flexing and being available all of the time for people, for your clients, for whatever, you're able to set up your schedule so that you can obviously have your life stuff and also just feel like you are, operating your business out of a space of, I don't want to say consistency, but also consistency and being able to show up energetically and physically, emotionally, what have you, at 110% for your people. So full disclaimer, this is not something that I started with. I have very much so really tailored this as of, I would say mid 2023. So from 2018 to 2023, I was really just winging it. The things that have helped me really determine this whole and nail down this whole scheduling and what you want your business to feel like. Obviously, I've learned a lot from Shantae. I mean, I've learned from her since 2018, and I've learned all of the online business stuff that I talk about on here from her, and this whole scheduling piece is a big part of that as well. Just, I will say scheduling, and also just understanding the meaning of a lifestyle business. In addition, I would say Laura Jean, so Dietitian Value, Shantae brought Laura Jean into the Mafia, and that's how I am aware of Laura Jean's teaching, but just essentially teaching or operating your business out of a place of, it's your values, a values-based business, as well as just understanding what your enough is. So Shantae and Laura Jean talk a lot about what your enough is, whether that's financially, emotionally, physically, whatever that is. And in this case, it's more or less financially because I'm running a business. And then in addition, I would say Emma Jack, who a lot of the times, Emma's like the person I text and I will talk to about business related like bumps and what have you. I don't want to say venting because it's not venting. It's just like two business owners who share a lot of the same sentiments, and we just talk with each other about things that are going on in our business. And I had learned from Emma in 2022, and one of the in her mini mastermind, if you will, it was a small group coaching. From there, I have learned a lot of, by saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So with all of these three things put together, it's allowed me to essentially sit down and create a schedule that makes sense for me. So when I'm looking at my schedule and how it exists now versus before it was more or less just, I worked from probably 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. I would say at least Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and most nights. I worked a lot of weekends. And mind you, I had multiple jobs. I was also running a clinic. I was doing the admin for the clinic. Mostly I wasn't really treating, and I was running my business. So yes, I was working a lot. The thing is though, is I don't want to say tired because I wasn't tired. I was just doing the same amount of stuff that I'm doing now in a condensed period that I was doing then in a very drawn out period of time. And this is like, as I'm saying this now, if you would have told me this last year, probably in last 2023, January, February, March, I would have said you're insane. Like, this is not what my life could look like, would look like, just because I was so married to the idea that I was needing to work a lot. And I will also say I wasn't approaching that as like, oh God, I got to work again. For me, it was like I was working and I was enjoying every minute. Like, I genuinely, now there's a lot that goes into that. Was I escaping like some life stuff? And I was essentially my addictive personality. I don't really have an addictive personality, but I have a head down to the grindstone type of personality. So was I avoiding life and working more? Probably. But the thing is, and like backing up, I will say that the biggest game changer for me was actually just taking back control of my schedule. So the whole point of this episode is essentially to give you the permission that you didn't need to make your schedule work for you and your sleep habits and your kids, whatever it may be. Now, I understand I'm not a parent. I know that there are things that you can't change. There are things you can't move, things that just exist. I know that as a business owner, you have to make money. Like, you can't not make money. So I do know there's a financial component. I know that there are things that just don't work. Like, school starts at 7:30, 8 o'clock. You can't not go to school or drop your kid off at school. So I know there are constraints, but within those constraints, I would just invite you to find a way that makes your schedule work for you, and so that you can have a business or a lifestyle that you truly like. So just to give you an example of the things that I have done that have made my schedule super, I want to say perfect, and very much so work for me. And I'm able to show up 100 and give 110% with also having flexibility to live life, because the point is not for me. My whole goal is to be able to live life. Like, I love what I do. I love what I do. And also I want to be able to live my life. So with that being said, some of the things that I do or I have done, and I will say, before I even begin this, The stuff that I have done was a direct result of meeting with Shantae in late of 2022, I believe it was. We sat down and batched my time, batched my energy, and I'll go into that, but it's been a game changer. So for me, the things that have made a huge difference is one, scheduling life stuff in first. So Sunday mornings and Wednesday mornings, we're playing volleyball. So from 6:30 in the morning until 8:30, I know that that's what I'm going to schedule in. So I'm not going to take a meeting at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday. It won't happen. I will say no. And that's just how it is, because I know that that's part of my weekly schedule. On Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, these are my business days. So I've actually separated the days that I show up live to calls and the days that I work on the back end of my business or I have a flex day. So Mondays and Wednesdays are the days that I work on the back end of my business. Tuesdays and Thursdays are my live call days. So I'm on Zoom, I'm coaching, I'm doing do it in a days. Sometimes it's on a Tuesday and Thursday, but on Fridays, I have a flex day. So on a Friday, I have the capacity to do what I want, essentially, whether I'm catching up on things, I'm adding in an extra client on the back end. I'm not doing live calls still because the only days I'm on Zoom are Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Fridays are essentially my day to play with, if you will, and do what I need to do in my business or go to the beach, which is what we did this past Friday. So it's very nice for me. And what I've done there is essentially blocked in my time according to the energy needed. And that's why, I'm not taking a Zoom call on a Monday or a Wednesday, because it's a different type of energy that I need to show up with. Tuesdays and Thursdays, however, I go essentially back to back, especially on the busy days, busy weeks. I'm back to back. And by doing this and having this energy batching, if you will, I'm able to show up with the same type of energy Monday as I am on Wednesday. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are the same. And then Friday is mine to decide. And what this is doing as well, it's allowing me to not have Zoom fatigue. So I know that people can probably relate to that. In 2020, a lot of people, were on Zoom. And because I was before I switched to this specific schedule, I was taking calls Mondays through Fridays, and I was on Zoom so much. And that was one of the things that Shantae and I pointed out in my call with her. She was like, do you have to be on Zoom all this time? For example, I was doing my Do It in a Days, my websites, live on Zoom. And if you've worked with me, you know what that looks like. And maybe you're listening to this and you did a live Do It in a Day with me. If I'm building a website at this point, though, I'm doing everything in the back end because I don't need to be live on Zoom with someone for 5 hours, 6 hours. And, that's obviously energetically exhausting to be conversing with someone for that amount of time. So we essentially decided, okay, how much time do you actually need to be on Zoom? Now, if you take a step back, we also have to decide what is your enough, right? And for me, I have to realize or decide how many people do I actually need to quote unquote fit into Tuesdays and Thursdays in order to financially make my life work. So I also have retainer clients, and my retainer clients are my Monday and Wednesday people. So on those days, I'm working on the back end for their work. So I'm getting their retainer work done. So again, not live on Zoom, but still doing work. So I have to decide and I have to figure out how many hours I have to work on Tuesday and Thursday in order to make ends meet if I have my existing retainer clients. So all of the whole summary here is just figure out a schedule, figure out what feels good for you and stick to it. And say no to things, because when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And I didn't say this now, but I'm thinking about it. Every day I start work at 10. So Monday through Thursday, I'm starting work at 10 because in the morning we walk the dog, we hang out, we have breakfast, we cook breakfast every day. In the middle of the day, we'll eat lunch together. And then at dinner, we eat dinner. So I actually have that time set and built into my schedule so that I'm not cutting into that time. And sometimes if I decide to take a meeting that's extra before that time is quote unquote here, like that 10 o'clock time, I find myself not frustrated, but I'm just not in my element because I haven't done my normal routine. And for me, I'm like, I have no kids. We don't have kids. We have the dog and the cat. And so I understand that I'm speaking from a place of I don't have to manage other humans. And I know I am grateful for that. Obviously, it's a conscious decision for me not to have kids and not have to have that on my plate. But I'm able to then decide yes or no to take that meeting at 9:00 on Wednesday or 9:00 on Thursday. All right. I think I've beat the horse dead on this, but what I want to leave you with is just understand that the schedule that may feel chaotic, the schedule that may feel like it's unbearable or unmanageable or all over the place, it doesn't have to feel like that. And there are ways in which you can change things and essentially batch your energy, batch your time to make sure that your schedule is working for you and you're able to show up in the best way possible for your clients and in your business, in your life, and also just attend life things and live your life outside of your business. And like I said in the beginning, I've learned this from Shantae mostly. So if you need help organizing your schedule, she does that in Maestro meetings. So you can check that out. And then also just follow Laura Jean, Dietitian Values on Instagram. She is a great person to learn about the values-based business and your enough. And yeah, that's really all I have for you. So thank you so much for listening. I will catch you next time.